right, I think we're live, and yes, we are good, finally. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Jedi Academy here on Reality Skewed Gamers. I'm your host of the most, Ranger J 1999, and welcome to the Jedi Academy. And you're wondering, what the hell are you doing, Ranger? It's early in the morning. Well, it is early in the morning, but this is what we do here at RSG, is do crazy stuff like this. And if you're new, this is basically a Q&A show, and the Jedi Academy, its whole purpose is to bring the best and brightest of content creators together, along with my mental damaged person, and we're here to answer questions about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And it's pretty simple. If you're new, first of all, welcome. If you're not, and you're an old crusty turd like me, hey, welcome still. We love having you. But it's a pretty simple format. We'll give the content creators here, a few minutes. It's still early, as I said, Saturday morning. Some of them it's later, like Aldous. Look, everybody, it's Aldous. Yay! Aldous is here. Hello, sir.
Hello, everyone.
And see,
look forward to it.
See, he's a guest, and basically how it works is pretty simple. We get as many of those kind of folks on as we can, and then we answer questions. So it's pretty simple. If you have a question that you want to answer, you want to pose to myself or the panel, whatever it may be, all you have to do is follow just a couple simple rules. First of all, put your question into the chat. Make sure you put the word question in front of your actual question statement, because we use Nightbot as a filtering tool, and we use I use a filtering word, and that word is, of course, the word question. So if you want your question answered, put it in the chat just like that. We'll get it scooped up, and we go into the order that the questions are given to us. So, and now the other thing is, we usually do the show for 2 hours. Sometimes we go longer, depending on how many questions we are or how many people are watching and stuff like that. 98% of the time we get to all the questions, but there are times where, hey, a lot of stuff is happening. We've had a couple of shows where it's like, hell, I went 3 hours, 4 hours on the Jedi Academy. We still didn't get to all the questions. It's a rare thing. It does happen. So it behooves you, if you want to get your question in sooner rather than later. And don't worry, a lot of times people don't ask questions because someone's already asked the question for them, and that's okay. But no matter what, if you have a question, I don't care what it is, put it into the chat and we'll get it squared away. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe. You hear all content creators say that. It's important. It does help to support the channel. Hey, like I always say, if you really love the content, want to support us long term, there's a few ways you can become a Patreon sponsor, $5 a month. It's linked in the description. Helps the channel grow, helps the channel stay above water and keep putting the content out that you guys enjoy. And then join our Discord. That's another great way, and a great way to meet lots of awesome people that live to play SWGOH, and it's all that online. So if you need, and if you want to check out anything, it's all in the description. All right, we already introduced the man from the island, Sandfly. Looks like we've got the country vacuum himself there in BCM. What's going on there, country vacuum?
Howdy, y'all. Just getting morning wake up with coffee.
Yeah, I didn't even have time for coffee. I woke up like 5 minutes before we started because for some reason my alarm didn't go off. But luckily the old inner alarm clock didn't. I was used to getting up at the same time. I just woke up like, yep, alarm. But this time I was ready. Subconsciously. So things happen. All right. So what we do in the beginning is. Well, we like to talk about what's going on in the game, and for the life of me, there's really not much happening right now. It's really boring, not much going on. What the hell am I talking about? Of course, there's a lot going on right now. GAC was exploded, it did. Inward. Oh, boy. Yeah, got that. Boy, what a mess that was. I'm going to tell you guys what happened. Well, what we know so far, right? So basically, we don't know specifically why this bug happened, and it's really weird that it happened in the second round of our third round events. Really strange, and I don't know what happened. So eventually, we'll get some answers. But yesterday, you guys who were watching, I'm shocked if you don't know. GAC happened where for whatever reason, certain people were getting scores or getting points ahead of time. Now, for me, both myself and my opponent each got 414. In some circumstances, it was just one person. In some circumstances, nobody got points, and it was like nothing had changed. So, a really, really, really strange bug that happened. I don't know where the 414 comes from. I think some people have done. People have been trying to speculate on why it was 414 or whatever it was. Some of it was like 2 something or 100 something. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that it happened, and unfortunately, because it happened, they had to cancel GAC. If you were watching anybody streaming last night, you saw that everyone was doing speed GAC, which was hilarious. So and then they decided to take down the GAC last night. I think 8:15 Pacific time or whatever time it was last night. There's posted on the forums. I can tell you in the background, CG was scrambling. They didn't know what the hell happened. They didn't know what the hell, And I would, if I was in their position, I'd be like, what the hell, too? Like, that's a really strange thing to happen just randomly. It's not like this round is
I think
GC.
it's because I unlocked JML that morning.
Is that what happened? Okay, yeah, way to go. So send all your hatred and poo-poo smears to the country Viking at BCM at hesucks.com.
I mean, that's the only thing that changed is I unlocked JML that morning, got him to gear 8, and then it broke that afternoon. So.
Yeah, these things happen. That's science. Yeah. So that happened. So GAC's down. They said they're going to try to get back started next week. I don't know what that's going to translate into. You'd already done, for this round, we've already done one fight. We had scores. I was looking at that where it is with like my overall ranking and stuff. I don't know how they're going to do that. Do they just go back to the beginning of GAC period, which I'm okay with. Whatever they need to do. I mean, stuff like this happens. It's out of their hands. Something happened with the code software. It's a shame. Whatever they need to do. I get. It's just one of those strange, stupid things that happens. When you're playing a game. I played lots of games where I've seen some crazy stuff. It's like the game just lost its mind for something that was programmed that was just unforeseen. Murphy's Law. Anything that will go wrong, and you just have to adapt to it. So, but that we should get more information as soon as possible. I know that they took out the event, and I also know that that they are. I mean, they are scrambling, trying to figure. I mean, trust me, they're going to be working this weekend. They're
the only thing that changed between last week and this week was, even first round was okay, but even between the second and first round, we had the second sister update. So I'm pretty sure that was the culprit that threw the wrench into.
I thought that came in. I thought the update came in Tuesday, so I'm trying to figure out how the hell. Right, because we
were already joined for round 1.
Right, but the update came in, right? So how come it didn't affect the first round? It's had to be, I don't know. It's really strange, but I do think maybe I'd agree with you, BCM, that something happened with the some coding software, something. I don't know, man. All this, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I would say the comment that apparently you got the 414 if your opponent changed their banners.
Yeah, I did. I change my teams all the time, yeah.
Would imply that maybe it was there from before the first round, because obviously nobody changed it for the first round.
That's true.
It was only, so it could have been sitting there dormant. But look, it's good they're changing things, because there's been many games that have died where the people aren't changing anything, so the fact they're changing stuff in the background is a good thing. Obviously, this has been a bit of a weird one, but I like these things. I don't blame them, because everybody that's ever done any computer coding knows that just randomly something weird happens. And,
it's so
just caused a weird day. It's frustrating for people. We had a Thursday where I got a win, so yeah, I hope I keep those points. I hope I keep that as a win, but no, I don't know. It's fine. More interested when they get it started again and what cadence they move on to and what happens next.
Yeah, I went 0-3. I got the big wooden spoon. Even with the speed GAC, I couldn't clear anything.
Oh, I could have. Actually, I had some fun. I didn't care if I won or lost because I saw that it was funny last night. Everybody and their mom started just streaming last night. It was so funny.
Oh
So I
yeah,
was cracking up watching everybody do SWGOH, basically. And I had a little bit of fun. I was like, you know what? I don't care if I win or lose. Let me try some counters that I just wanted to work on. So I was using Gas versus GL Ray, and I was
right.
using. What else did I use? I went strange counters. I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna have a moment where this might not count, then let me see what else I can do. And I'm trying to think, what else did I
Yeah, I
try?
did the same thing.
I did some different counters. I did Ray and I did Grievous versus the new Mon Mothma team, and it was straight like counters for all these new teams and stuff. I'm like, let me
I
try
I slept
this.
I slept I slept through it, so I missed the entire party. But I would have loved to have had a go with my new Iden army
Yeah,
and that sort of
Yeah.
G11 G12 team just to see how powerful it was. So
yeah.
it would have been nice. It would have been nice if I'd got a go or if I'd realized. But these things happen. It's
It
okay.
happens, and we'll get some communication from CG. I know as soon as the bug started happening, as soon as, we didn't know until the new next round of GC hit.
Oh, there was
I
60
mean,
posts on Reddit like instantly.
oh, I got messaged immediately, and I could tell you like all of the people and content creators and people that are talking to CG. I mean, we were spamming them. I only sent them one message, like I'm sure you saw this, but just in case, kind of thing. And the response was like, "Uh oh." At first, they were a little like what their response was just trying to figure out what the hell was going on, and then after that, like then once they had all the information, then I'm sure CG decided, okay, this is what we got to do, and then they were fast about it, so they're gonna have a lot of sleepless nights over the weekend and
It's
stuff.
it's a tough one. It honestly is a tough one to fix though because I mean it's 900 crystals for a win.
Yeah,
So it's a hell of a payout.
It
It depends what league you're in, but the
Yeah.
Kyber ones are 900, but that's a massive crystal
oh yeah,
amount to be giving out or be missing from people's accounts. So it's going to be a very difficult one. Whereas in the past, when GAC maybe went wrong, they gave you a few bits of gear. There's quite a missing economy now, which is going to be hard, I guess, for them to reconnoiter.
Yeah.
Put together.
I mean the only way they'd be able to do it, I was looking, and if you do the math, it turns out to be like, I don't think for Kyber 1 the math's a little off, but I think the average for Kyber in general is like 2550 or something like that for crystals for the wins plus the end game or the end of the week rewards.
Yeah. Plus the end of the GAC, there's a whole big
Yeah.
swath of crystals. I mean, I'm fine with like fifth. Like I don't know. I think I was watching the grid. His response. I think he said like, 3,000, 2,000 crystals. I'm fine with that. As long as we get
Yeah.
it, we'll get to our whatever.
Just get it back.
Yeah.
We just want it back.
Yeah, just some compensation. I'm sure they will. It's going to take them a while to figure out what they're going to do and then get it out. That's not an easy thing just to say, okay, what's the amount of crystals, and how, once they get everything set up and get JC started again. So look, it happened. There's nothing we can do. It's unfortunate these things happen, but at the end of the day, they'll get it fixed. They'll figure out what the hell's going on. I would like to see some communication as best they can. They can't go. I'm sure
Yeah.
in some ways they may not be able to go in pure form detail about what's happening, but just a general thing of like, hey, this is what happened. This is what we think happened, or without getting to any trade secrets or anything like that. And just say, hey, this is what's happening. This is what we're going to do. We're going to compensate you guys, and they've been really good about doing that. But give them a little bit of time. This is probably something they're going to have to really dig deep in and figure out what the hell is going on. Not only to see why this happened, but to make sure that it doesn't happen again. So we may get some more patches, say, okay, this is what happened. This is what we think happened from what we can identify. We're going to have to do just some additional patches to get it squared away. So I wouldn't expect anything this weekend because they're probably sitting there all
They're trying to figure it out.
drinking coffee.
I mean, like Otis said, you change one thing in code and it could be something completely unrelated and the syntax just goes funky and it pulls from that and just freaks it out. And
Yeah.
it takes you forever because a game like this, you're talking hundreds of thousands of lines of code even for one slight change. If you want to change a color, it's like 10 lines of code. It's ridiculous.
So the great crash of 2022 has hit us, and or the great GAC debacle. I don't know what we would call it. It's not a debacle.
I don't know, man.
What do we call it? The great GAC.
It's a blip.
Blip. The blip.
Call it blip.
So, all right. So we know that that's going on. We did get Second Sister this week. What else happened this week? And
the Interceptor news.
The Interceptor for Conquest.
For the ship.
Yep, got the news of the new ship and stuff, and that will be the Conquest reward. I looked at the GAC feats, and they look much, much, much easier and much more attainable, which I am over the moon about. We still got to spend time in Conquest, but it's going to be a hell of a lot easier. Now, the thing that I haven't seen is, okay, what are they doing about energy and stuff like that? If that didn't change, I'll take it as a win, though, because if we get easier Conquest feats, where
they
it's
are
like,
listening.
Yeah, they are listening, and so if we can get feats that you can do while you're doing the Conquest and not have to go back in and do all this other crazy stuff that we've had to do for the past, I'd say 2 conquests, then that's a win, because and looking at the feats, a lot of them just super generic, like get this or 50 light side, 50 dark side. I'm like, hey, that's fine with me. I can do that while I'm doing the whole damn thing. So I'll be knocking out stuff all at once, which is, I think, tremendously better than it was before. That last GAC, holy God, the Bounty Hunter one was just unreal. It was so stupid. Ugh. So yeah. The new ship, I can tell you, being the infamous beta tester, of course, I knew that it was coming. You also know that I've, of course, tested the ship. Really good ship. Really, really good ship. And it is definitely a reinforcement ship. I can just tell you that right now. Now, limited testing, just from me, what I looked at it, it's really good. And of course, I can talk about it now since it's out. But I'm sure you guys will get your hands on and come up with some crazy stuff that I never thought in a million years to do. Like, hey, did you know if you use it with the rebels, this would happen? No, I never thought of that. I'm just trying to do what I do. But it is an outstanding reinforcement, and it really is an awesome ship for Empire. And I think you guys...
is it a 4-star or 5-star unlock, or is it a 7-star?
I don't remember if it's...
Can you tell?
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I know it's a Conquest reward. I think it's a 5-star unlock. Once you get the shards, it unlocks at 5.
I think that was the Resurrect Crest too, right? The Resurrect Crest was
I think that's the case. Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, the rumors are 5-star, which I think is technically possible after the second Conquest.
Yeah.
If you buy the pack, so it is potentially only 2 months away, and I think it's a very interesting kit because it works on the bench. You don't even need to bring it in for some of its stuff. So even if I'm going to have to look to see how high I can get its or maybe skipping questions, but how high I'm able to get its abilities with while it's still 5-star. Because if I can just stick it on the bench as like a 7th on a Thrawn fleet and it's just passively working away with TM gain, I'm happy with that.
No, but it's a good ship. So you'll be everyone's gonna have a great day. It's gonna be a great drive. Have fun getting the ship. All right. So let's get to the questions. I'm sure more people, as they always do. Smoke. CG canceled Jedi Academy also? I don't think so. We've been doing it every Saturday for the past 5 years, so we've missed a couple here and there, but that was because, I don't know, there's this thing called Christmas and New Year's, and I wasn't streaming those days. Sorry. I just, on holidays, yeah, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's are the only time that I will not have. If it fall Thanksgiving, no, but Christmas, and it depends on when it happens. But yeah, that's the only time we've not had Jedi Academy. But other than that, pretty consistently. Other than that, I've been on every single weekend. So CG can't cancel Jedi Academy. I decide if we're going to cancel Jedi Academy. So that's just the way it works. All right, I can see we got the questions coming in hot and heavy. And let's start getting them pulled up here. As I said, if you have a question for myself and the panel or anything like that, just put your question into the chat. Make sure you put the word question for your actual question statement, and we will get that read out, and we'll go in the order that we get them. So let's do it. All right, we're gonna start off with my home slice. What else? 73. The Hump Day Taco Lover himself. All right, he says, the question, since we should expect Mar to be added to Cantina like the other 3 for Starkiller, what order would you farm them in, and what would you work on 1 to 7 star at a time, or go 5 star on all of them, or 5 or 6 star unlock, etc.? I'll give my opinion, and then I'll ask these two fine gentlemen. For me, I think looks like they're going to put all of them in Cantina. So far, we're 3 out of 4. I think the one you should do first is Mara Jade. My goodness gracious, she's so good. You could look at it 2 ways. Who do you want to get at 7 star? Because they're all good for all different reasons. I wouldn't be upset if you picked Kyle, or if you picked Dash, or if you picked Talon. They're all good at 3 and 4 stars because of what they do. But if I had to pick one, I'd say Mara Jade. I think she's the best of the bunch. Get her up to 7 stars and start working on her gear, because hell, you can, Nev talks about it all the time. He uses the Palpatine team to take out Reyes. That's how good Mara Jade makes Emperor Palpatine and Vader. But there's no wrong answer on this. I mean, Aldous, which would you say if you had to pick one? Would you pick to stick 1 to 7 stars and then take each 1 to 7 stars at a time, or would you just go get this 1 to 5, this 1 to 5, this 1 to 5, this 1 to 5, then this 1 to 6, this 1 to 6? How would you do it?
Well, I think it's a great question. It is a slightly personal question, I guess, to each individual roster as far as what else you have. So I don't have a prepared squad, so that automatically pushes Dash Rendar kind of down. So for me, you should already be doing Kyle Katarn, because I've got Mon Mothma team. So Kyle Katarn, for me, that's who I've been already doing. Yeah. But I would say that Mara Jade's probably the best. So I think it'll be Kyle Katarn, Mara Jade, Dash, and then Talon. I don't know. See, I was already doing Dash before Kyle Katarn came out, so that's kind of order I'm doing. I would tend to take. I think I'll take Kyle Katarn to 7 star. I think I'd rather have just the level that I'm at, 7.6, 7.7. I've got a Relic Mon Mothma team. I'd probably want to put a Relic Kyle Katarn in there before I start working, unless Mara Jade. I don't know whether Mara Jade will go in Cantina. Possibly, but maybe not.
It's looking like it is. I mean, they've already done the other 3. You never know. We could be surprised.
We never know. Yeah. But yeah, if Mara Jade goes, I would say that Mara Jade for me also is a very valuable one. So, but I think I would I'll see what Kyle Katarn's at. I'm already getting holds with my Mon Mothma team with Kyle Katarn, where the opponent has clearly misunderstood. Well, they've clearly underestimated Kyle Katarn. If you get speed on Kyle Katarn, no matter what gear level he is, no matter what star level he is, he will really, really screw up a team. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, he's a good. Okay. Yeah, he's a good character. Yeah. So that's my answer.
All right. Looks like we had someone else join us sneakily, and that would be Calvin. Awesome. Hello, sir.
You like my ninja entrance?
Yes, but I have other ninjutsu skills too. So I did a see Calvin enter ninjutsu, and there you were.
Oh, well,
or maybe I
shouldn't have underestimated you, Ranger.
Or maybe I did. It was myself that brought you in by doing a Kogoji no Ninjutsu, a summoning jutsu, and then there's Calvin. And, bit my tongue, got some blood, wiped it on my arm, did the symbols, and then there we go. Calvin Awesome's here. What's going on, buddy?
I'm impressed by your knowledge of ninjutsu, but that's cool.
Well, that's because I watched Naruto. Yeah.
Very, very nice. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan of Naruto. But
oh yes.
We don't have to talk about that this morning.
No. Let's not get into
that. I'm doing well, Ranger. I just kind of woke up. But last night I got to do two rounds of speed GAC, so that was fun.
Yeah, everybody did. I was like, well, this shit's not gonna count. Let me just try some counters and some things to make sure that I'm good to go. So that's what I did, and I had a lot of fun.
Gear 11 Dash. I wasn't gonna do it because I didn't know if it was gonna work, but because of this, like you said, we are just gonna test it. I took Gear 11 Dash versus a fully relicked JTR Resistance Bro droid team, and I was at the grocery store and I couldn't finish the battle, so I put it on auto and it won.
Yeah.
That team is so good.
Which team was it? Dash with prepared or Dash with like?
Yeah, I was with your basic smuggler. So L3, okay. Han Solo, young Han, Vader, Chewbacca, and Kira.
Gotcha. Yeah,
all like Gear 11, Gear 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm working on actually a Boba Fett Son of Jango team with Dash and Fennec, Boba Fett, that team that can take out Lord Vader and stuff like that. So that's the team that I'm trying to get done, but I'm so gear poor right now. It's horrible because I've unlocked Starkiller. I've tapped out beyond. I'm like grabbing the rope, tapping the mat as I'm getting the walls of Jericho on my ass because I'm like, okay, I can't. I mean, I've got Circular Gear 9, and I'm like, good lord, it's just I'm out of Corbantes, I'm out of Cartex. My salvage is basically in the dump because once you do all your GLs, you do Executor, then you go for Starkiller. I mean, just the relic pieces, materials, gear that's needed, you're gonna be wiped out. So, and I'm just
even like Ranger, you're close to like day one player, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So I started 2 years after. And I didn't have relic materials as soon as I got my third GL. Like,
yeah,
it was just gone.
Yep. I mean, I had tens of thousands of stuff once upon a time, and I'm down to like, I had so many greens and all that other, nonsense that you just don't think about. And now I'm like, I'm back to farming greens again. I'm like, God dang it, man. And it sucks too, because one of the other things too, that going for these characters, you're not able to farm gear like I was previously as well. Because there was times before, in between GLs, I'd get them done, and then we'd have a little bit of break, and then I would just basically hoard some materials as best I could. So that helped a little bit. But yeah, I'm looking at everything that I need because the teams that I'm working on is getting Starkiller and Visas up as quickly as possible for my Starkiller counter. Our team, which is going to help me tremendously in GAC. And then the other two will be finishing Dadbot, Boba Fett, and Fennec to Relic. Fennec's 11, he's 12, or 11, 12.5. I only need the right side. And then I'm like, okay, I got that done. And then what else I have to do? I'm like, oh God, I have to finish Omega. She's 7 stars. God damn it. I just you can't keep up with the gear, even with doing all the raids and TW and everything like that. So, yee. I just throw my hands up like, okay, let me just take this one at a time. I'm going to lose my mind. And that's not even counting the other stuff that I've got ready to work on, because I am going to go work on Iden, because I've got the other troopers sitting there at 12 that I should definitely use Iden, and she's probably the next Omicron I'm going to drop, because I put the ones on Starkiller. I already did Qui-Gon and Zan.
That one's sick.
Yeah. But Iden's one that I'm definitely trying to get up as well, so... and get her up and running as quickly as possible. So I'm tapped out. I can't do it anymore, man. I'm back to slow rolling this stuff because I can't do it anymore, man. Oh my God. All right, let's get back into the questions here. We got Calvin Awesome and the rest of everybody. So yee. All right. Epic Fails with the question. Let's see here. He says, which Omicron next? Next, I have Qui-Gon, Zam, and Dash, Cat, Crash already. Also, with all the video game characters now, chances of Eternal Twins. All right, Epic, you son of a... There's no Eternal Twins coming. Damn it. As long as I live, 2 things will never be in this game. Mace rework, unless Rambam bribes me, or the Eternal Twins, unless they bribe me. So, which Omicron next? Qui-Gon, Zam, Dash, Cat, all that stuff you put down there. I mean, you've listed some good Omicrons. I gotta say, Zam.
These are the ones he has, right?
I don't know if these are the ones he has. He says, which should I do next?
Oh, of those options.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I had to pick one, I think Zam would be the first one. Then Qui-Gon. Then you get to your. Let's exclude like Dadbod, Boba Fett, because of what he does in TW, or any of the TW ones. Let's just focus on GC. Starkiller, if you can get him unlocked, priority because we know what he does. He's basically a GL. He can take out GLs and he can hold on defense. Not the best, but he still can give people nightmares, right? On defense, especially if you put a lot of GLs down with him, because they have to make up their mind then. It's like, okay, if they keep 3 or 4, like, okay, what am I going to do about old Starkiller? I think Zam's the best one than Qui-Gon still at this point. The new Leia and then I'm going to put Iden in there. Her Omicron is sick as well. And I was looking at the Princess Leia Omicron. I'm actually going to throw that in there into the mix as well, because I was thinking about this when they announced. I'm like, if I put her on CLS and took out 3PO, that's gross. That's really gross. With her double taps and triple taps, and each time she does, you get a 55% chance that she is going to add tenacity up and retribution to the CLS team. Hello. I mean, that's nasty. But we'll go around the corner here. Calvin, you just cocked in, so I'll let you go there, and then we'll go Aldous, BCM. But what do you think, Calvin? If you had to give someone an Omicron order, what would it be?
Well, if you're looking for GAC, in my opinion, the 4 best that are just at the top are the 3 you mentioned and Iden, and then at that point, just roster dependent. Mm-hmm. I think the easiest one is Qui-Gon Jinn. I mean easiest just for people to have it, because really all you need for the Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron to function is you need to have a Jedi Anakin at Relic. Like, if you have that, you have an entire team with the Qui-Gon Jinn Omicron. After that, I would probably say Zam. I think Zam is the most accessible after that. Zam is probably better, but it does require you to have a pretty good surrounding team of bounty hunters and mods, because I've fought in several Zams that are like at 250 speed at like gear 11 or gear 12 that have the Omicron. It makes no difference.
No,
the counter I was going to use before and the counter I use now, it's garbage.
Yeah, mine's like 315 speed. I've got to get her, and I haven't sliced her mods, but I mean, I intentionally did that with the mods I put on her. So you're absolutely right about that.
And at that point, you have to take an entirely different counter, which made the Omicron worth it.
Yeah.
But then, after that, I would probably say, and then Dash and Iden are probably the same. They're both really, really good, but it just comes down to, do you have a team of smugglers or do you have a team of this specific Imperial Trooper team?
Yeah.
But I don't think you can go wrong with any one of the 4. I think they're all really great.
Yep, I agree. What do you think, Aldous?
I agree. I went Qui-Gon Jinn first one, then I went Zami. I put the Iden one on, and I've still got 27, so I am looking at the Leia one. I do think that the tenacity up
and retribution.
Retribution you're getting kind of makes it even harder to get Chewie out. And so I get on a CLS team, that's going to be difficult. But even on just a standard Rebel team, being able to just kind of boost them up a bit. I like the ones, obviously, that are on uniques are obviously good. Rebels are a massive action, and it kind of applies across all of them. So I think the Leia Omicron has a lot of potential legs. It's almost like the Qui-Gon Jinn one, in that sort of way. So yeah, those are certainly the I don't have Dash as a team, so I haven't really done those. So, and I don't have Starkiller yet, but I agree that those are very good. But yeah, for me, I've gone Qui-Gon Jinn, Zami, Iden, and then I'm looking at Leia. I don't think I'll put it on, but I'll wait and see.
Yep. And BCM, what do you think?
I did Zams, and Zam for offense is still really good. I didn't put it on defense because my bounty hunters are slightly undergeared, but they've been taking out some interesting teams. I don't have the Qui-Gon Jinn, but I don't really have my Jedi aren't really there. I do have a Relic Anakin. I just looked, so I might have to think about that later. But I'd have to pull him from my Padme squad. So, like Calvin said, it's kind of roster dependent on what you're doing and what you're planning. I know some people also, depending on what their guild needs, have done it for like TW if they're in a higher up guild. So it's really it's really personal. But I would go Zam and then Qui-Gon probably.
Yep. All right. Let's get to the next question from 1073 again. It says, question, that speed GAC was pretty fun last night. I can see why you enjoyed it, Ranger. When can everyone expect to have a little fun with that? I don't know when the next speed GAC is coming down the line. I know that CG, it went very well. I know that they're trying to plan to do another one soon, TM. I don't have any specifics. They've even... I mean, you would think that as fun as and successful as that was, that they want to do some more. I know they'd love to do some more, but I don't have any information on it other than that. But I think it would be a lot of fun. We get Calvin, we'll get these knuckleheads in there and see what it's like to do speed GAC. So we'll see what happens. Swore the Jedi, hey, what's going on, buddy? Says, question, is the new ship a 5-star unlock, or will we be able to max it with the 3 conquests? Both. Not only is it a 5-star unlock when you're able to unlock it, but it'll be 7-star completely unlocked if you get the red crate, just like all the other conquests. So you get a little bit of both. So let's do conquest. Let's see here. Oh, God, Neoven, let me get through this one. Question, Ranger, do you think the galactic size awesomeness of all my Chewie, all Han, and all Darth teens broke GAC? No. We already discussed this. It was by unlocking It was BCM unlocking Jedi Master Luke. Okay, let's move on. Psycho Jones, with TIE Interceptor reducing cooldowns, do we see this becoming part of the Executor Fleet and Fleet Arena to get to Death Star faster? Great question. What do you guys think? We'll go with BCM. What do you think? The new ship. I
think it'll work better with the Imperial fleet, but I could see it with the cooldown reduction possibly working with the Executor.
Yeah, could definitely work with the Executor. Comes in, reduce cooldowns. I'm trying to think. It's kit. I don't have the kit in front of me, so I'm just
I think if you put him with Thrawn and the Empire, you get to Thrawn's quicker.
Yeah, you get to his ultimate faster, and everybody else.
You could get to his ultimate, just wipe the board, and then it's just mop up after that.
Well, they also redid the kit also to TIE Advance, though that's another change that we kind of shimmed over because we do have the new shiny, but old busted got an upgrade, and I think that's going to make the I think the Chimera fleet is going to be really dope here, mainly because he reduces cooldowns. His ultimate just takes out stuff, and you're able to heal faster. You're able to get to your cooldowns quicker, which for Chimera that's a big thing, right? To get those...
and you'll be pulling reinforcements quicker.
Yep,
because it's doing the same thing as what is it, the Ghost?
Yep.
And so that's going to speed up the Empire squad. I think it didn't. It said it wasn't supposed to take out the Executor, but I think with the Thrawn fleet, you're going to be able to wipe the board pretty quickly.
Go ahead, Aldous.
I think its kit is locked to Empire, as far as I can remember.
It has a little bit of Sith in there, I think in the unique.
Yeah. Yeah. Inquisitorius, Sith, and Empire are the tags.
So it's not going to be. It's not going to be ending up with the Piat team, I guess. It's not going to be on Executor. It's going to end up with... It's going to speed up Thrawn, I would think, would probably be its main plan. And just, rather than kind of reduce the cooldown on Thrawn's Annihilate by 1, they've sort of given him a ship on the back that kind of speeds it up. So I think it'll just kind of boost that. But I guess there'll be other ships coming, so it's kind of hard to really see the full picture. But for me, it's Thrawn.
All right. Next question. Now, guys, remember, we're if you have a question that you want to ask the panel, make sure you put the word question in front of your actual question statement and get that into the chat, and we will get that scooped up. So if you want to get a question now to us, feel free to get that in, and we will rock and roll. So again, follow the format, or I won't see your question. So it's hard for me to see chat when I'm scooping up questions. So yeah, if you have a question, get it in, and we will rock and roll. So and make sure you hit that thumbs up, guys. If you help support the channel, and make sure you sub so you know when we go live. We do a lot of live streaming. The best way to do that is to be subbed so you get that bell notification. It's supposed to work that way. But it's supposed to mostly work like that. Mostly. Wait a minute. Who else joined us? Oh, look, it's the GAC Whisperer. Thane Kyrelli's joined us.
I'm gonna go grab some
Hello
coffee.
there.
real quick.
Go for it, buddy. How are you, my fine feathered friend?
I'm all right. What's going on?
Oh, yeah. We just talked about Speed GAC last night.
Oh, that was fun, man.
Yeah.
Full
yeah.
cleared in like 30 minutes.
Yeah. I just worked on some counters. I was like, you know what, screw it. Let me go do Gas versus Ray, and let's go try the Grievous against the new Mon Mothma team, and just try some stuff I had never tried before. I didn't win any of my matches. Well, by the time I realized what was happening, I was supposed to do GAC with Crumb, and I'm like, well, we're not doing that. I guess we'll wait. But then I'm like, well, I wonder if I could still attack. And because I saw everybody else doing their GACs, and by the time I get in, my opponents already jumped in there. And round 2 it ended, and because my opponent had more GP than me, they won the second round. So I had only a certain amount of time for round 3. I'm like, oh god, let me get in there and try some stuff, which I did, and it was a lot of fun. Okay, let's get to the next question. Let's see here. What else? I need 3. If you put Princess Leia with her Omicron on the CLS team, would you gear her to be the guarded one or keep CLS as the geared one? Or the guarded one? Huh. That's a good question.
I do CLS.
Yeah. Because Leia can go into stealth,
Leia
right?
hides.
Yeah.
Leia hides. So she's you want to kind of stealth her, and then nobody's going to be able to hit her. So, no, I think you leave CLS guarded for me, would be the plan.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, yeah. So, yeah, do we do CLS still, or do we? Yeah, I would think so, because Leia can still hide. Now, she'll be still susceptible to AoEs, even under stealth, but... That's a good question.
Sure.
It's no different than
Yeah, but I think-
Threepio. Yeah, you don't
I think
care
your first
Threepio.
your first move, I think you're going to stealth her. You're not going to leave it open. She's also pretty squishy. I was checking my Relic 3. Leia is
something like
still only 90k on total health and protection. So yeah, no, I think you put her.
I'm looking at her because she is Relic, especially if you've worked on certain characters. I'm like, yeah, makes sense. Because I'm looking at her stats right now. Yeah, she's very squishalicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's still CLS. CLS takes too much turns for me, as well. So yeah, no, I think you're stealthing her. So no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. If you could possibly leave it on CLS. I mean, I'm sure there's some people with their mods. It might be difficult to get Leia ahead of CLS, I guess. So we have to do it, don't we? But yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anybody else with thoughts on this? I think we pretty much, I think we've covered this one. All right. Let's go to the next question here. Let's see here. Contingent 33. Hello, my friend. Question: can you suggest in testing to have a filter for Omicron-capable characters? I can never remember who all our possibilities are. Yeah, we can. I mean, it'd be kind of nice, as we start getting more Omicron stuff. But I don't even think they have that for Zetas. You just have to, right?
No, yeah, they don't have any type of sort filter by ability. At least if you're referring to the in-game thing, SWGOH.GG can sort both of them.
Right, but not in the game.
We do need a visual representation at some point soon.
Oh yeah.
Like you have to check the Zami, you have to check just to make sure you're not running into one, and a lot of people miss out. So especially with rare ones like Hera and things, especially with the more and more they bring in, they get more and more obscure. Would I check a Leia? Probably not. So I do think a visual indication would be my first plan.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely needs to come first. Why is their boss going before my 350 speed Piet?
I don't understand. No, that's a good suggestion. I will bring that up. All right. Name I am not even going to try to pronounce. T.A. I'm just going to go with that. That's a hell of a name, dude. Looks like it's Alexander is the last name. I can't say that first name. So, Big T. Question. I will probably have one Omicron for Starkiller. How much of a difference will it be without the Repulse Omni? I know you can get away with 2 of them. Let me pull up Starkiller here. I've got to look at this.
You don't need the repulse.
Yeah, you don't need the Repulse. You do need the other 2.
I thought Repulse was number 2, or am I wrong? I don't have him, so I very well might be wrong.
Well, repulse is the one where he dispels all buffs on the enemy team.
Yeah, I mean, the other 2 are...
Because the priority is the unique, right? That's where he gets all the juicy
There's
stuff.
much conflict in you, and I think the other one's Force Energy. Force Energy, and then Force Repulse is the last one, where... those are the first 2 I didn't, because all that does at the end is it just spells all buffs on all enemies. It's one that you want, but it's not a priority. It's not one that you have to get.
The other one seems more useful for me because that's the one that dispels all debuffs on all allies.
Yeah, it's
a buff immunity, healing immunity that can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. So that's
Force Energy. Yeah. What is it? Force Energy? Let me make sure.
No, it's Boundless Force Throw.
Boundless Force Throw. There we go. I had to look at it. While in Green Arena, while in Unleashed, dispel all debuffs on all allies, and the buff immunity and healing immunity can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. So yeah.
Because it applies. All that stuff.
So there's that one, and then there's much conflict, and you definitely want, because that's the one in GAC where if you meet the criteria, they get all those sick ass stuff. 35 speed, 50% less damage, and call assist. It's just all this crazy nonsense. It's ridiculous. So yeah, but the Force Repulse, I don't think it does, and it's not something to sneeze at, because dispelling all buffs on all enemies is, plus you get stacks of his Force Unleashed with the overall ability. So but yeah, I'd go in order. There's much conflict. Balance Force Throw, and then if you can, Force Repulse. But go in that order. If you have the first 2, you'll be okay. You can get away with not having Force Repulse and still be fine. Okay. Darth Zion, this is a great question. Now we've been talking about GAC and everything that happened for a while. So this question, with Conquest being temporarily canceled, will this affect our ranking? That's a question that I think that we didn't really talk about here in the beginning.
Wait, what?
With GAC being canceled, I think he meant to say.
Yeah. Well, I just read it as it was. With Conquest being temporarily canceled, will this affect our ranking? I don't know.
I think one of the posts or a comment in one of the sections, they said no, it's not. So I think they're just resetting this week. So whatever you started off at, that's where you stand. I think they said something about they won't because they had to cancel it. It's not going to affect our skill ratings or anything.
Okay.
Or it's not supposed to.
I mean,
my skill rating is where it left off at. Like how I had done this round is where I still am.
Yeah, same here. So for the first fight, I think counts, right? Because that's where my skill rating is. I don't know if they left it there. If they left it there,
yeah, the first fight counts.
Yeah,
at least it does on my board.
Yeah, same with mine. So I think if that's where they left it at, I'm okay with. But if they had to push, I would be understanding to say, hey, we got to reset to this point or whatever they did. I mean, I'm like, okay, do what you got to do. Let's just go back in. For some people, that really sucks if they'd have to go back to the beginning of the entire GAC and go back to that skill rating. Because I know.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be fun. You'd have to fight the same people because everyone would go back.
Yeah,
right.
And that's not a fun thing. Because I know, Calvin, you did not have a very good week last week. I'm sure you don't want to face those monsters again.
No, I don't. Actually, part of me would like a little shot at redemption because I still think I had an outside shot against all 3 of them, and I screwed myself every single time. Well, it's hindsight's 2020. But my offense-defense split wasn't good because they were not getting clear wins versus me. The first 2 couldn't even full clear, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with this being the first week I've ever scored more wins than Calvin, I'm thinking about changing my name to Awesome Sandfly. And maybe
Sandfly Awesome.
He could be Calvin Oldest. I mean, I'm always
welcome to Calvin.
Welcome to Calvin's. Look, it's. I might talk a little bit about the matchmaking, I think, at some point, but yeah, no. It's a weird world where someone as talented as you loses 0-3 on the week, and it's just crazy. But yeah.
Oh, it's just the nature of the matchmaking. Like everyone is going to go as high as they can until they're going to get beat down by people who, essentially, like the guys that were in my bracket had 500 more relic levels than I did. Like, and they were good players. Yeah. So there was there was a way that they could set up the board that, regardless of what I did, they were going to win.
Yeah, that kind of hit me this week because the first guy I faced had an executor, I didn't. But then everybody else, and he was, I think he was the closest to me at 400,000 GP more. But then after that, it was a million more plus, and more, one more GL than I had. So it was I was a GL down on all of them, and a million GP less. And it was an uphill battle. I know I could probably have won a couple, but I was going 0-3 this week. So.
I mean, you're going to enjoy it.
I'd say the only people with it being cancelled, the only people that probably might have a bit of a rage is the people who were just above a cut-off and lost their first match. Because they would have got 2 slightly easier matches in the second and third round and might have got the banners back. But because they've reset it, they might end up getting relegated to the thing below, or vice versa, promoted. But I guess the promoted people won't be too bothered. But it's a small gripe. I only comment that because I'm right on the cusp of the Kyber 1, Kyber 2. I think I'm only 4 points off it, and so there might be 1 or 2 people in that, but yeah, I don't think it matters. It doesn't matter too much.
All right, let's go to the next question. This is a good one. A couple of these popped up that for some reason Nightbot, you suck. Miss Ivan ONG question: what style of matchmaking do you enjoy more, the old way or the new way? I enjoy the new matchmaking. Here's what I'll say about this, and we'll get the panel's thoughts. People send me stuff all the time, and I look at it, and I'm always constantly sending stuff to CG and talking, or just talking to them about it. Someone mentioned like, hey, it's such a mismatch. But did you win a lot early on? Yeah. Well, then that's what you're going to face. I'm like, the skill. It's based off skill rating. It has nothing to do with GP. It just has everything to do with, who you are at the time with your skill rating points. You may run into some people, if you're winning a lot early on and you're climbing up the ranks, Calvin could talk about this, you're going to run into a wall. Unless you are at the max, like those top 50 players with their crazy GP and all the gear and all the mods and stuff, and even they lose. You're going to get matched up against somebody and it's a compliment. You're winning a lot. You're going to get faced tougher and tougher opponents, not just because of their skill rating, but just because of where their account's going to be because of the skill rating. It's starting to even out a little bit. Now, I can say it's starting to even out for me a little bit. I'm not facing crazy opponents like I was in the first round. It's more at my level. I do get that one, like this last round, and pretty much everybody was around 8.2 to 8.5, but there was one person that was 9.2. And the reason is they just have been losing a lot. They're at that skill rating. I've won a lot, but I mean, at the level I'm at, that's just the way it plays out. I prefer the new rating. Go to the panel. What do you guys think? Who wants to jump in? Skill rating, do you like the old version or you like the new version of the matchmaking and the skill rating system?
The old way I won a hell of a lot more. That's for sure.
True.
I was always going 11-1, 12-0, maybe 10-2. Now I'm always 2-1, or I was 3-0 the first week, but now I'm 2-1 most of the time, and I've hit that wall. I like it because it's a little bit more of a challenge. I have to think a little bit more. It's just not I'm going to put this on defense and just win.
Yep. And
like you said, like I've hit that. I think this week I did hit that wall because 6 of the competitors that I was with it was like 6.6, 6.7, 6.8 GP, million GP over my 5.6.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes a challenge, but I enjoy it. The rewards are great too. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
I got to get used to losing. That's the thing. I know. To lose.
Well, a perfect example, Calvin. I mean, you started. I mean, your 162 win streak in GAC came to an end this week, and you went 0-3. After all is said and done, do you like the old way or the new way?
They both have their advantages. They both have things that are good. I do think, I don't know if this is really part of the question, but the crystal change, 100% necessary. That is amazing. Even even coming from someone who, again, went 0-3 last week, and I got 600 crystals or whatever it was for the losses, like that was awesome. That's awesome. As far as the matchmaking goes, I still have kind of mixed feelings about it. Yeah, it can go both ways. No, because like this is so obviously I would like to win more, and in the old system, I probably, and this might just be me being cocky, but I don't think I would have lost. Like I had gone well over a year with my streak, and if I would just kept doing the same thing I was doing and playing kind of by the rules that I was playing by, I think it would have just gone on forever. At the same time, though, I was only being challenged by an opponent like once per season, like 1 out of the 12 matches where I really had to get good with what I was doing. Whereas now it's every single match. There are no freebies. There are no auto deploys. There are no guy that decided to have 0 GLs, even though he has 7 million GP. So it's a lot more challenging in that respect. I think I ultimately like this one more. It's just it is very frustrating. Like this week was a little bit better because everyone only had 1 more GL than me rather than 2. But like I said last week, the guys I was up against they could just set the board a certain way, and I had no chance.
Right.
And that kind of sucks because I want to have a chance. I want to have an outside chance of winning, but it'll go back and forth. Like I went 0-3, and then I got opponents that were not like that.
Right. Well, I think the other thing too with this new format too is because you mentioned the crystals, more people are actively participating in GAC. Remember in the old system, you would get a lot of people that would just to join, right? And the matchmaking wasn't what it is now, because if you're climbing up, the people, the higher you climb, the more active the participants are going to be. And because there's more active participants in GAC, way more than in the old system, right? It makes it much more competitive. It really does. People that if you look at their I don't even look at their lifetime score other than, give me a sense of like how much they were involved in GAC in the past. But, there's been people that only have I was over 1 million lifetime, and I'd run into some of the 600,000, but, I knew that they were going, I looked at the way the board was, they're coming at it, they're giving it their all to try to win, where technically in the past I'd be like, hell, the old system, I'm like, yeah, you don't even care.
I've had 1 auto set this whole over the course of the new GAC.
I haven't had
1
any
auto set, and I've had 1 no attack.
Yeah, I've not had either of those so far. But I'm in Kyber 1, and I've been in Kyber 1 the entire time, so it's just been it's been a fight of fights. All right, anybody else on the old system versus the new system? Thane, Aldous?
I like the new one. I think the new one, but I've got a couple of small changes or tweaks I would make. One is generally for the community. I think as a content creator, losing is not easy. So bear that in mind. There's a lot of people out there where in the past they'd be on big streaks, and I don't just mean Calvin, but many other people.
Oh yeah, there was Heathen that had 100 something and more. I mean, they were crazy streaks.
Used to winning streaks, but now are facing 0-3 weeks. And I think Calvin is showing the maturity and shows how good he is as a communicator, the way he does it. It is difficult, so always love the content creators. The other small change I'd make is actually, I would say that how good you are at GAC is the GP difference between you and the average of the other 7 players. So I'd like to see, maybe from a GAC center point of view or from a communication point of view, actually the GP difference is how good you are, and celebrate that more. So if you're up against people that are 2 million or 1 million more than you, it's because you're good. If you're up against people that are 1 million lower than you, it's because you're still working on it, if that makes sense. So I think that would be the change in language I might start to make. I think that's nothing really to do with CG. It's more to do with us as a community, and actually celebrate the differences, celebrate the GP differences and the GL differences, because while I was up against 2 people with 6 GLs, it's because I was doing well. It was my reward. I did lose those, but it was my reward. So I think there's a couple of ways, I think, as a community, we need to learn how to communicate slightly differently about the differences and the values. And it's something that Calvin did very well there. And he went 0-3 because he was so good.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, in the GA Center, there's no way we're going to be able to go get the information on that. So we do communicate that when everyone does the report.
I don't mean it's GA, but it's almost like the communication is more around. It's the GP difference that shows the quality of a player, and be that in a physical difference or in a percentage difference, or whatever. Now, I would say that any content creator who is getting big differences should start communicating that, because that's genuinely how good they are.
Yeah, trust me, I get them all the time. They're not fun. It's really, and I'm 50-50 on those big monster accounts that I've faced, because where they might get me in one area, I've got them in another. But like, there's one where I almost pulled it off, but they just bulldozed through my stuff because they had it was like they were 9.4. I'm at 7.9. So had a really tough defense. I wasn't able to full clear them, but I put up a great score. But even with all the holds my defense got, they just bulldozed through. They're like, okay, I'm just going to two-shot these tough teams that he put down, and they came up with that plan. I'm like, well, I can't do that. It was because that's the advantage they have. It's like they can two-shot stuff because they got all these extra teams and stuff. I can't. I had to be perfect through everything. I didn't have the roster like they did, to where I'm like, okay, if I mess up here, I'm in trouble, because I can't use something else because it screws up everything else I've got planned. So that's where I think the big GP difference makes it makes a big strategic difference in what you can and cannot do. So there you go. All right. Phil,
as far as
oh yeah, go ahead. Thanks. Sorry.
Yeah, as far as the new versus the old, I think the new system, it gets rid of the biggest complaint that we had about the old system. Whereas the old system, we had, we always had this argument of like, top heavy rosters versus bottom fluffers versus holding GP versus not holding GP. We know one of the biggest complaints that people had was that, people were purposely building their rosters to have a certain GP so they had the advantage, and they were kind of riding, the coattail off of that. Because I know that Loki for a long time was upset that like some of the people that were getting like the high scores like in the season were people who had lower GP, because they could they built a roster in a way where they could still do solos and stuff against their team. And I was talking to a lower GP player just the other day, and they said, oh, well, I normally keep this character so I can solo stuff on offense. And I showed them the board I went up against. I'm like, well, look at the teams I'm facing. Where would you have used this to solo something? And they're like, well, nowhere. I was like, yeah, exactly, right? So it's like this new skill rating system, it allows, you to face progressively tougher and tougher competition. And that's the thing for someone like a player like myself, right? I was already facing, I think Loki also mentioned this before, where it's like, yeah, we're, people at our level are already facing really tough competition, and people who are just as enthused and as focused in the game as we are. So it's like, for me, this change is actually not that different than what I was doing before. The only difference is that now I've noticed that people are way more active, whereas before, sometimes if I full cleared, some people would just not bother. And now everybody just at least attacked and at least attempts to do it. So yeah, no, I think the skill rating is much better, because a lot of people still get those mismatches where they're like, oh, it's 4 deals versus 5 deals and stuff like that. But it's like, well, you keep winning, yeah, it's gonna happen, But eventually, if yeah, nobody likes to lose, but eventually, once you kind of like you, Ranger, once you start even out and you start facing people that are around your level, it becomes a little bit easier. That's what they said, right? They said,
yeah,
this process is going to take a couple of months, right? Because you need to find your footing. You need to know where you are. So
sweet spot.
Yeah. Obviously, if you're in a division where a lot of players are heavy GP, like if you're in K1 and you're on the lower end of K1, and then you're getting matched up with these 0.4, 10 million accounts, it can feel like, man, that sucks. Then eventually, through the process, you're gonna start matching up with people a little closer to your level. And we said, we kind of all said this when this new skill rating said, we're all gonna try to fight to have a better record than 6-6, because it's gonna be it's gonna be tough. And I feel like this is a much better gauge of actual skill, because if you're lower GP, you can still win. It's harder to beat a higher GP player for sure, but you can still win. You can still set a good board, like Major said. You gotta be perfect, but goddamn it, when you're perfect and you get that win, best feeling in the world.
It's really good. It's a nice feeling, man. We've done it a few times, and it's like, hell yeah. So, all right, good question, good discussion. Phil Ragan's our next question. He says, how hard should early to mid game players be farming ships? I'm going to say pretty hard. I hate ships. I mean, some people in the panel like them a little bit more than I do. I just find them boring. The executor meta is oh god, let's not get into that weed garden there. But I will say they're vitally important. They can change a match if someone has executor and you don't, or if they've got negotiator and you don't, or they've got both negotiator and malevolence and you only got one of the two. That makes a big difference in fleets. It's a part of the game that, again, they need to do more with fleets, but you got to have some fleets. And we've been telling early to mid game players, once you kind of get your ground forces started, say you get that first GL, then go work on a ship. Some are easier than others. Like you need get to for some of the stuff and the characters and ships, but at least start the process, and work on the ships that you can get done. Pick a fleet and work on it, whether it's Geos or the Galactic Republic or something. But they're pretty important, guys. I mean, I think it's pretty important. Sometime in your early game, you start doing, you got to at least start farming one fleet and working on it at the same time you're doing everything else.
I think ships are probably more important now because you're still getting that extra crystal income from fleet.
That's true too. Yep.
It's the double dip. As long as that's still true.
And that's where you get your Zetas, or at least the Zeta challenges and stuff like that was all from ships. So I would put that probably second.
And not only that, but also in GACs and in TW, sometimes the matches won or lost in fleets. And not only that, but one of the biggest reasons I always tell people to work on fleets early on is because they don't have double drops. So it's going to take you a little longer to get them than regular tunes.
Oh god, this is Bomber Sith Fighter.
You gotta farm them up early.
Dirty. For me, it's 100%. For ships are where the money is, where really the crystals are now. And for me specifically, it's the bugs, it's the geos. That malevolence fleet, once you get those bugs, that'll do you well in the early game. And when you get to facing executors and malevolences and negotiators, it's also a counter there. So I think that the geos bug ships are still ones that are 100% viable. The other ship is Jedi Anakin, because obviously if you're new, just get yourself some Omicron, stick it on Qui-Gon Jinn and stick a Jedi Anakin in there. So having his ship and starting that is definitely a good place to start. The other one, I'm listing all these ships. KRU's ship, I think, does it sit on his own node? His ship,
they're both on a Cantina like
Crew and his ship are on the same node.
Yeah, it's a cheap node. It's a good node.
It's a very good node. So the KRU ship is a brilliant ship, and it's a very good node as well. So those are kind of where I would suggest to people when they're looking at ships, but it's where all the crystals are now, and it's where a lot of the GACs are actually won or lost. Very often content creators or anyone you watch will be ahead when it gets to ships, but ships will actually decide it. So it's like almost a second game mode in it. So,
all right. Let's get to the next question. Ray Rock question: will Machine Gun Leia's Omnom work in conjunction with Admiral Hackbar's Om Nom 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 lead? Yeah, we didn't talk about the. Of course it will. I mean, Akbar's new Omicron and Leia's Omicron. What do you guys think about that combination in general?
I'm very toxic about it. I think it's a waste. I think it is. I think it's a complete Omicron drain. And I don't think it's a good team, and it's really stupid expensive.
I agree. I like Leia with CLS, but yeah, I agree with. Go talk about it, Calvin.
I do like Leia a little bit more, especially because hers is on her unique, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not obviously as good as Zam's, but it still has that same kind of idea that you're going to be able to take it other places when other teams or when other things can't come out. But I just don't know what the team does. Like, you put it on defense and it gets sold by Nest, a 3-year-old character, and that's 40 Omicron mats.
Yeah.
That's so expensive to get sold by Nest. And then on offense, I don't even know what you beat. Like, it doesn't seem to have potential to beat Darth Revan or to beat Gas or CLS or like any modern team.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I'm very toxic about it, but do what you want with your resources, and everyone lives with their own consequences.
Yeah, everybody else on this Omnom, Admiral Akbar, it's a trap, and Princess Cinnabon Leia.
The Akbar one's terrible. There's two things that are right. It doesn't have a new buff, so it doesn't do anything new. It just does what it already does, slightly better. And everything in the entire Omicron is Rebel linked. So even if it's got like 3 causative statements that are like, if Rebel, then this happens. If Rebel, then this happens. If Rebel, then this happens. They could have maybe let one of those go, like the TM gain or when the buff, and then let it be a little bit broader. But the entire leadership is like, it must be Rebel, so it's not even a generic one. So the Akbar Omicron is terrible. The Leia one I prefer. I like a lot.
All right. Next question from Contingent 33 question. What are the additional effects gained from Talon's Nom Nom? It has to do with... if you're running with Treya, right? I'll read it. If target enemy is inflicted with isolate or pain, which you'll get from Treya, right? And pain's from her.
Cyan.
I'm sorry, Scion. Thank you. The isolate is Treya. The pain is Scion. Thank you. She gains additional effects on her attacks, and then whenever she defeats an enemy, all other Sith allies gain 5% max protection and 5% offense for each stack of loyal hand. On top of everything else she does, it's just a nice thing. So it just ramps her up, and she does.
No. Don't you don't talk about bad Omicron. It's a bad one. Don't do it.
It's not that it's a bad. I don't think it
is a bad Omicron.
I think it's okay, but it's not a high priority though. I mean,
so here's the thing. Look at the teams that you are beating with Treya, and it does nothing to help beat those teams any better or more efficiently.
No, I don't think it's top priority Omicron. I don't think it's garbage.
If that ability sounds good on paper if it was on somebody else, but for that team, for that squad, the way it worked, it adds nothing.
I wouldn't say it brings absolutely nothing, dude.
It does, unless you're putting the trio with C, then maybe, but no.
Well,
yeah,
I got my gingivitis for him. What are you talking about? No way I'm using C there.
the only thing, I totally agree with Zane. I think that in its current guise, where the current teams are, it doesn't work. But it is applying across all Siths. Sith's going to be a big faction. It's a faction they keep launching more and more of. If any of these Inquisitoresses also pick up a Sith tag,
they won't. Second Sister didn't have it. They're not going to get it.
You might, so yeah, it's. I'm only trying to kind of, but for me, it's not a good Omicron, and it certainly doesn't work as to where it is. So unless you do a rework, unless somebody else picks up a pain, then it's not for me.
Oh, fair enough.
It has good potential. I like Tane was saying, I like the way it looks on paper. But yeah, if you can't find a applicable thing, I'd hold off. Especially how rare Omicrons are right now, how good some of them are. Like she's worth looking at, but I don't think she makes the cut right now.
No, she's on the lower end. I mean, the Omicrons we've been discussing, she's not one that I recommend getting right off the bat, by far.
She's better than Akbar.
Yes, that's very true. There's quite a few. But yeah, it's okay. If you put it on, I ain't going to hate you. But, I mean, just save your Omicron for her later on. And I'm sure we're going to get more stuff related to all these characters, I'm sure. I mean, CG's doing all kinds of crazy stuff right now, so we'll just have to stay tuned and see what happens. Okay, we got a lot of questions now. Nathan H. Well, this is a great question. It says, I am low on relic materials. Should I improve my executor fleet or go after GMK immediately?
What do you mean by improve your executor fleet?
You mean by relic
A
levels?
relic up. Yeah,
Yeah.
relic up.
Nah, you're fine. Go get JMK. Because I mean, mine's still relic 8, and the only character that I took above the starting like lineup, I think, was just Razor Crest. I didn't do anything with anything else, and I have no problems in arena or anything like that with the standard relics you have to do for the unlock. The Razor Crest was the only one I took up.
Yeah, because
which is
BAM, BAM doesn't ever require. I had a Mark 7 already. I would say that's worth it. But other than that, whatever the minimum recs were to unlock it, that was fine. It has been fine.
Yeah, I'd say go up to JMK. Anybody else?
Yeah.
All right.
Assuming you have BAM relic somewhere.
Yeah. Agree 1,000%. Momo the Ninja. Ooh, some more ninjutsu happening here. Question: if I had to choose, would you rather have Conquest or Cantina energy refresh at the normal energy rate? Conquest. God, please.
Cantina.
Hell no, Conquest.
Cantina.
I think I would take Cantina too. It happens you need Cantina energy every single day. You don't need Conquest energy every single day.
Yep.
Yeah, but I hate Conquest. The sooner I get done with it, the better. It makes my life so much easier. I
hate Conquest. So if I don't do it, I don't do it. But
well, I do it because I do it, and I hate it. And I'm gonna get done to it faster. Damn it, Dave.
I need relics.
You don't know
more
me.
Than I need whatever comes out of Conquest.
Oh man, I would be able to farm stuff so quick out of Cantina if that were the case.
Yeah.
100% Cantina.
Cantina is the right answer. I just hate Conquest so much. I want Conquest. That's how much I hate Conquest.
Conquest is amazing. I don't know why you're in.
It's about-
I don't know what they're talking about.
Aldous,
Calvin,
yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah, Conquest is about as fun as a poopy flavored lollipop. Okay, if you want to suck on it, you can, but it's still.
You say that as someone who's tried that, Ranger. So let's just think about that for a minute.
Well, there's joke candy. Yeah, you can eat earwax flavored stuff.
Hey, we were in the military. You did.
Yeah, trust me, we've done some crazy stuff.
Conquest though, I can show you my about $40 at launch cat character at 7 stars instead of a $300 at launch marquee. Look, it's a better way of getting characters.
If
My
you
freaking
can.
Fennec, man. My Fennec is so bad right now.
Yeah.
If you can, that's a big if. Now I can. It's not that I can't beat Conquest. I have no beating Conquest. I do have my frustrations where I'm like, hey, let's go to Sector 5. I'll just use my first order SLKR and I'm dead. Okay, that sucked. I just got my ass handed to by, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta use Chris's. I just hate it. I hate Conquest so much. Cantina, of course, is the right answer for salvage and everything else. But god damn it, I hate Conquest. I just want to get done with it.
The number of ridiculous teams I put into when I get to Sector 5, it's just a trail lead, and it's trail lead with 4 random characters. It's like okay, if you're all going first and you're all going to take 50 turns, then by the time it gets to my turn, you're going to have red across the board, and I'm
Oh yeah.
It gets silly. It does get silly, but
well, yeah, but Ezra takes 900 turns and kills your GML.
I kind of like the silly though.
Really, you like Ezra
I
just sitting there taking 20 turns and killing your JML?
You don't take JML though. Like that's the point of
Take
Conquest.
CLS and just burn them.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Just
okay,
erase
if
them.
you took in JML on the first Conquest and you lost, I feel bad for you. If you tried that every single Conquest
No.
after,
I'm
that's
talking
not
about.
a Conquest problem. That's a you problem.
The last Conquest in Sector 5 that happened, I ran to a Phoenix team with JML. I'm like, all right. And, I did my turn, but then, they did that thing where Ezra just kept going. I was sitting there on the stream like, wait, 19, 20, 21, 22. All right, JML's dead. Okay, that sucks.
You need the caustic emissions, the thermal.
I had all that stuff. That's not a problem.
And then, what was the other one? The volatile accelerator.
Yeah, I had all that stuff.
Take CLS and just wipe them out.
Yeah, but you run out of stamina on CLS. And sometimes you have to use other teams sometimes. It's just the way it plays. And I'm like, okay, I got to do this one. I remember what it was for. It was one of the feats, too. I'm like, okay, I'll use the GML team with Yoda. I'm like, okay, let's just go in here. And, all right, start off well. And, wait, Ezra, stop. Stop hitting me. Stop hitting me. Stop! It's like...
It's very good fun.
I didn't think about the tray.
I love it.
I didn't think about the tray option. Quit hitting yourself. Quit hitting yourself.
Stop it.
Yeah, it's a trail lead with like Ray and resistance or something. It's like nonsense team. You just go in Treya and Malik pretty much work on all of them, and you just kill themselves. And you just go, well, that was a waste of time.
Well, yeah, I've used Treya with I've just used Treya herself with the Mandos for the Mando feat, where it's like, okay, let them kill themselves, and then all right, AOE for Jango, I win. Thank you for all the free kills and then stuff that I needed for their feats.
Treya and GML are probably the two most valuable Conquest characters we have. It's like those two are just next generation. Anyway.
All right, let's go to the next question here. Red Ribbon Army says, question: will they ever make Conquest symbol? I have all 6 GLs and I just don't have the time to put into Conquest on top of everything else. I think Kate said it best. I already have a job. I think eventually it might, because remember, I mean, for us that have been playing this a long time, GW was, I mean, you thought Conquest was hard. GW back in the day was just awful. And it was almost impossible to get there. I mean, you had to plan it out. And then, eventually we played it enough where, we've been playing it so much that it becomes like a kind of a dead game mode. I don't think anytime soon in the future, by a long shot, are they going to do that. But down the road, they might. If you have beaten it enough times, right? If you've gotten the red crate, where they can say you can send this because you've proven it. I think that's going to be difficult though, more than GW and some of the other stuff that we send, because they put really good shit in there. Especially the characters. So I don't know if it'll ever get sim. It could if we reach a certain saturation with it, but if they keep putting characters like Cat and Maul and stuff like that in there, I don't see them ever making that simmable.
No, they're using it as an alternative to Marquise, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point of it was supposed to be renewable game mode. Like the same thing with PC, where they can go and update it every month. Like I don't think it's going to be. If I had to bet on one game, one PvE game would ever be not being civil, it's Conquest.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah. I don't think and I also think they're causing themselves a little bit of a problem with they're putting out such good people there. I don't think they'll ever put them onto simple. We talk about this every week. Simple energy nodes. I think they're going to put them into crystal shops. But eventually they're going to end up with so many good characters in these crystal shops or get 2s or get 1s or wherever they end up. They're going to have to try and put them somewhere. I
think after a year, that's the value of that character has dropped.
Yeah.
I don't think so. You look at Razor Crest. Razor Crest is still one of the best ships in the game. I think they'll push it a long time. I think it will go to a crystal shop. I think it's their next new kind of. It's going to cause a little bit of a disparity between old players of the game and new people, because new people starting who want to spend, who want the latest stuff, are going to be blocked between so many sort of purchases, so many kind of stuff you can do in crystals. I think it's going to be a bit weird, but I don't think they'll ever want anybody simming it. I think it's what they basically want, people sitting there with their phones, touching buttons.
I know Ranger can't say anything, but there was some speculation on the Escape podcast last night. Or I'm sorry, I said that wrong. The Escape podcast.
Yeah.
That apparently in one of the data mines there was something about a mode that needed 0 GLs.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
So perhaps there's going to be a certain game mode that you need at least 1 GL to get into, that will be where these characters are farmed at. And that would be probably because they need a spot for Razor Crest, and like you said, Sandfly, they're probably not going to put it on a regular node. And I don't see them putting it into a whale shop. I mean, they might, but I think with this combination of this hint at a new mode or new zone, that you would need to have a GL in order to get access to that, because you can't get. I mean, yeah, you could get if you could get the Razor Crest out of the shop, that's one thing. You still have to get BAM. And for these powerful characters that are coming out, I see them putting that behind some kind of a door, instead of just having that. Somebody would, if you could restart an account and then go straight at it, that's going to be rough. But if you need a GL to get there. And a lot of these characters need the GL counterpart to be good, right? Like Cat is awesome with Kenobi. Maul is great with Lord Vader, but you have to have that component. That's my thoughts.
Yeah.
I do think they'll have to gate. They'll have to gate them in some way. They won't just be farmable from the outset. So I agree with BCM. I don't know, but yeah, that'd be my my
Or
feeling.
maybe it's a new shop that they're going to open up that you need a GL in order to get access or something. I don't know.
We'll see.
A new currency.
Yep. Oh, another currency. Huzzah. All right, guys, make sure you guys are putting the word question, the actual word question for your actual question statement, or I'm not going to see your question. You have to actually write out the word question when I do a filter. If you didn't actually put the word question in, I'm not going to see your stuff. Now, I did catch something from my good friend Master Ugwe, and this will be a fun little question. It says, "Hello, Mr. Ranger and panel. What's the best lightsaber for my son? Not sure on brand or style." So there's two that you can try to go for. There are the actual like FX Star Wars official lightsabers that are out there. They're quite expensive. I've got one behind me, the Darth Revan lightsaber. I also have a custom lightsaber. Now Loki built me that, but if you're looking for a custom one, you can get made for someone a little bit cheaper than the ones that are from Star Wars. Those can go, God, those things are ridiculous. And you can get like Anakin's and Yoda's and or any of your favorite characters, but you're gonna pay a couple $100 for them. You can go to FX Lightsabers. I've actually researched this company. They make really good stuff, and they'll customize your stuff, and they're pretty good about price stuff. You're still going to pay some money, but if you want to do something custom for him, FX Lightsabers, you just go to the webpage. They're really good. They actually have a forum, and you can talk to somebody about that. Or, hell, message Loki. I don't know if he's still doing it, but there's some in the chat that actually will build lightsabers. So there's a few options. I don't know. Is there any other options you guys can think of?
There's a little shop out here called Saber Forge.
Saber Forge is another one, yeah.
Saber Forge, they have a store right down here in Oregon. But they have what they call, they have I think it's Padawan lightsabers or something, but they're like, they're full sound, full light, but they're slightly smaller than their original ones. I think they're around like $70. But then they have the ones that, you can go in and select all fully customizable and go upwards of $500, $600, $700, $800. But they have a nice little selection of the I can't remember what they're called right now, but they're like $70, $80.
Yeah.
And you get full sound, full light.
And that's really all you need for a kid.
Yeah, they're tough. They're like, I think they said they're combat ready, so you can bounce them off the walls and not break them. Well, I think that would be perfect.
Yeah, check that out, and hopefully that helps you out, Master Ugwe. I thought that was a fun little question. All right. The Timberstone question. I simply don't understand how me with 2 GLs and a very decent team stay stuck in Rhodium 1 while others without GLs or Relic 7s are even able to stay in Kyber and my matchups out and my matchups out GL me. It's still playing itself out because there's a lot of movement right now, right? There are people that are dropping out of Kyber 1 that just don't care about GSC, that you're going to run into that. And there's also people that, as you mentioned, that are really trying, and just the way the matchups worked, they were able to win, or for whatever reason, they were able to climb up. That's going to even out eventually, the Timber. If you're in a Rhodium 1, you'll eventually, if you're good enough, if you keep winning, you're going to get pushed into the Kyber range, man. It's just going to happen. If you win and stuff, and you can get out of Rhodium 1 in the Kyber, then that's the way it'll work out. There's a lot of crazy movement still that I've been seeing with, especially in the first GAC and even into this one, where there's just people that are dropping that are they just don't care, and there's some people that are really tryhards that just jump up. So yeah, it's just the way it works. I mean, again, we knew that this was going to be the thing, but that's why that's happening. Anybody else on this?
Depending on where you started, this can
Yeah,
take
that's
up
true.
to shift around. Like if you already started in Kyber 1, you were probably at home after the first month or so. But like if you start in Chromium and you're like a really good player who are, like there's someone in the Gambit server who has like 3 GLs at like 2 million GP or something like that. Like it's gonna take him probably 3 to 4 months before he's actually at matches where he's gonna stay at his home. So just the lower you start, the longer it's going to take, because they don't let you shift from Chromium to a Rhodium or to Rhodium to Kyber between the months. You literally just have to wait.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I mean, I started a Rhodium 3 at, I think it was just about 5 million GP with 1 GL. Like I said, I went 3-0 the first week, and then got promoted to Erodium 1, and then after that month, I got kicked to Kyber 4. So, I mean, I'm hitting that wall at 3 GP or GLs, Executor, a million more GP. So,
one of my biggest bugbears in the game. Transparency. I don't like. Okay, I'm going to go on a rant. I'm sorry. I don't understand what is wrong with CG and the metric system. Right? Why the hell is it 72 banners or 69 banners for maximum? What's wrong with giving me 10 banners if I win a? Like this. The fact that if I win a match, I get something between 40 to 90 banners more on my skill rating, but I don't really understand why. And all the cutoffs are like.
It's the Imperial system. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I think they could do them. Like, I love the fact. So what I see in the game is like the CG people in the back, like with their maths, right? But what I'd love them to do is translate that so that, 100, you move from Erodium to Chromium, and then you move from Chromium to Kyber at 200 or something, and you get 3 points every time you win a match. When in sports do you get like a random give me 3 points if I win a GAC, 1 point if I draw, no points if I lose. And then, it's so massively complicated. I think it makes them look even more shady, and it makes it look less transparent. And I think people wouldn't worry about what they're in if they could see themselves basically, all right, I've got 3 points, I get 3 points, I get 3 points, I've been promoted, I'm up a league. But the fact that you just get a random number of points between 40 to 90, I have absolutely no idea what it is. And then you lose, it doesn't make any sense. I think they either need to publish exactly what this maths is, and then they've brought in this squeezing, which honestly, I understand why it's there, but I don't understand what mechanism that works under. Yeah, I just think it's for the casual player who is not like a massive maths person who's sitting there with spreadsheets and numbers. I think it distances CG from me as a player, because I'd love to just see myself get an extra 3 points and 3 points over being promoted. So yeah, I don't think that's what the player meant there. But the wonderful question with the Timberstone. But for me, all these random numbers of 72s and 73s and 69s and 65s, just honestly, just do it out of 100.
All I know is if I win, I go up. If I lose, I go down. And if you said mass, and I was like, nope, you lost me. Mass, nope.
Yeah, exactly. But that I don't understand why it's overly complicated for me.
I just don't care. So I'm one of those players. I'm competitive, but I don't care because you said maths. I'm like, nope. And I'm exceptional at maths. I just no. But things to think
There's
about.
Probably a way.
Yeah.
There's probably a way to make it look easier. But one of the reasons they did make it really complicated was to prevent the ties.
That's true.
Because if it was just a very you win the lotto, you lost the battle, you took 2 chances. If it was all 1 point, 2 point, 1 point, we would have a lot more ties, a lot easier. But
yeah,
I've never developed a game or a sport, so I don't know the ins and outs of that.
Yeah,
what would prevent ties? If they added a 3rd fleet on defense.
Get the hell out of here! God dang! Yeah, that would prevent ties. Get out of here! Get out of here!
Well,
listen.
No, it wouldn't. Nobody would clear, and then you would tie.
Yeah, there you go.
No, that's not true.
No, you get 6 points for a touchdown. You get a 2-point conversion. You get the field goal for 3.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you go to sudden death, and whoever scores a touchdown first wins.
They will just pull anything out of his ass and get a 3rd fleet. So
I want a 3rd fleet.
Yeah. So don't say you care about the damn ties and stuff. You just want the 3rd fleet. They're saying you use anything to get your way. No,
that's right, man.
Oh, see, at least be honest.
It just makes sense. It makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
Ties. It's more competitive. It's a true measure of skill.
No,
it just checks all the boxes.
No, not until we get more ships.
Clearly, chat though agrees with me. Look, nobody understands this scoring.
No, I don't even try, man. I don't even try.
I don't even try.
Yeah, I'm like, if I win, I get points. If I lose, I lose points. Okay, good enough for me. I don't care because it's like, God damn.
I would get closer to explaining one of these GML kits than I would actually understanding the scoring. No,
just
make it easier.
I'll let more freer minds try to figure that crap out because it ain't this guy.
I will say every single way that they've done it, both in Territory Wars and GAC, and every type of point system they've had so far, they've always been consistently able to make a system where you couldn't game it by doing something specific. Like that to me is the most important.
Yeah, it is complicated. It can be frustrating. I totally get where you're coming from, Aldis. And I respect that point, right? Because it's like, okay, you want to know how stuff works. I get it, trust me. And so, yeah, I mean, if they could be, maybe I'll try to see if maybe I'll get Crumb on and somebody and we'll do an interview and try to discuss it, right?
For me, it's a presentation point of view. I understand. It's almost like they're showing us the working. I just wish they would pass it through a translation filter to make it more, even if it just had a cartoon color to it. And it's a terrible thing to say, but yeah, it's too complicated. Too complicated.
I don't care how it works as long as it works, but it's not working right now. So
yeah, Jay's here at the moment. All right, let's see here. Contingent 33 question: do the Legacy Championship points continue to update, or are they just like Kevin J. Anderson's Star Wars books and Legacy canon? It only matters to those who read them. Oh, God, they're just there. I mean, the Legacy does not update. It's just that was what you had previously. It's just a nice little thing to say, hey, this is what I did in a past life. That doesn't do anything else. It doesn't get updated, so
Yeah, it's like Legends. It's just it's just there, but
it's there. It's got great stories. It's nice. It tells a story of a bygone era in a more civilized time, and yeah, there you go. Great question from the Hand of the Emperor, J 1999. Obi-Wan. Says question: do you think CG will ever put double drops on old ships? God damn, why do we not have double drops on ships at this point? We got them on characters. All these ships, almost 98% of them are legacy. Where I mean, they're old. We've had it for a long time. God damn, let's get some double drops for them. Seriously.
I think it's all of them.
Yeah, pretty much. You're right. They're all of them.
It is.
Wow.
Like the only one that isn't is Razor Crest, but Razor Crest is a specific drop,
right?
So he wouldn't be anyways.
See, this is why we need a third fleet on defense.
God damn it! Shut up, thing.
Players who were best.
Oh my God. Anyone besides Thane? Well, yeah, I think we're all in agreement. Even Thane, in his ulterior motives, agree that we need double drops on ships. I don't know why that's
coming.
Yeah.
Never coming. Never coming.
Never say never.
There's not enough ships, therefore they can't speed it up. It's never coming.
They just need to drop all the rest to fill out the fleets at one go, and then make everything double drops.
Hell yeah, let's go.
No, because the fleece is what separates the men from the boys.
So says the man with the executor.
Yeah, Mr. Man.
Everybody has executor.
Yeah,
no,
don't put the executor on defense to see how well it works.
Yeah, see how
don't use it.
Yeah, Mr. Fancy.
I mean, you get 3 fleets, and then everybody puts Negotiator, Malevolence, and Executor on fleet, and it just makes it a non-factor. So
right.
I guess I'm fine with that.
Yeah, there you go. Nah.
You can't clear it, so it's useless anyways.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
Nathan H. question: what are your favorite characters and/or ship animations in the game? Ooh. I gotta say,
Kyle Katarn's saber throw.
That's pretty dope. I every time I see it, when the executor of the Death Star blows up the ship, man, so good, man. Because I always start going,
maneuver.
This fully functional and operational battle station. Like, oh yes.
The hold-up maneuver, man.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, the hold-up maneuver. Yeah. I don't know. The simple one is anytime I can use Mando to disintegrate someone, it's a very satisfying animation for me. I just really enjoyed that one.
I gotta say, my favorite ship animation is actually cranking up the volume and dropping Boba's bomb.
Yes, it still makes that sound. It is gross. Yeah. We all did it.
When I was watching Mando season 2 with my wife or whatever, I was like a complete sick-show. I was like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna drop the seismic chart. He's gonna do it.
Don't push my buttons.
It's so good. What's the other? I mean, Starkiller dropping the Death Star is still the newer ones. That's dope as hell.
I have a deep love, old school Wampa. Wampa is just, it's perfect. I love Wampa. I love all of his stuff. The big whomp he does and the smite. I love it. I love it.
I know Heinze, I know his favorite is the knee rockets from Boba Fett, which just look fantastic, man. So good.
Grievous's crawl is quite good fun as well.
Yeah, that's a fun one. I like Cat, man. A lot of animation they did for Cat, her because if you put it down to one speed when she goes to do that one attack, right? She does it and then she flips back. I was like, that's pretty sick. That's just that small little detail that I appreciate when a character does it. I mean, once you've seen it enough times, like okay, and then you put it on 4 speed, but put that on those. A lot of the newer animation for the last year and a half have gotten better with their moves and the way they do stuff. I mean, I got to give it to the art department and people. They've done a really good job of really being expressive with the characters when they make moves. You know, even Marjay, just the simple, subtle stuff that she does and why she does it. It's like, God damn, I appreciate that. God damn it, CG, you're doing a good job.
I really like Darth Revan's basic too. Like this is an older one, but I remember the first time seeing that, watching him drag the saber across the ground.
Right. Yep.
Because that even happens with Revan in a comic book, right?
Yep.
Like
that's absolutely right. I love it.
Cool.
I love it. All right. What else? Any 3 question? Do you think at some point in the future, pilots with Omicrons or getting Omicrons will be made to affect their ships' fleets? Not that I know of at the moment.
Nah.
They've been saying that that's not going to affect anything, nor do they plan on making that affect anything. So, yeah. Let's see here. Just updating the questions. Nathan H. For the panel, who do you run with C on offense? It's going to change because I've got Starkiller now, but per your basic Empire team, it's Thrawn, Darth Vader, Mara Jade, C, and then you throw like a tank in there. You can go Royal Guard if you don't have Lord Vader or Short.
You're running Empire with C?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that C or I'm thinking Emperor Palpatine. I just lost my mind. I need to get some sleep and more coffee. Is it C or Palpatine? Hold on, let me read back it. God damn it! And now Nightbot's freaking
good.
out. Hold on, Nathan H. Let me go back in. The thing flipped on me. That's why I just read it real quick and then the thing flipped out, and so I'm like trying to do it from memory. There it is. I got it. Okay. For the panel, who do you run with C on offense? C. Okay, not. What did I think? Empire. God damn it.
I got your Ranger.
Yeah, but I don't run Watt with him anymore. I leave Watt on defense with my new Maul team. I just need armor. And I've run it against every team. Hell, we almost took out a Lord Vader team with Maul. It came down just to the last bit, but it was armor with C and then a couple tanks just to protect him until get the ingots on it. And I've been fine with that. I mean, you need around a 200,000 C to do it, whether you're doing Rey or whoever you're attacking. We even took out an SLKR with that. Watt's nice though; it really makes it easier, but we've done it without Watt quite a few battles, right, Thing? Thing's not here. Okay, thanks, Thing. He just wanted to get his stupid ship 3rd slot thing, and now he's not saying anything. I know we sort
of typed about it yesterday, but I ran the weirdest because I was facing 4GLs. I actually ran a solo C versus a C team.
No, you want to do that?
So it was like the weirdest counter that C without anyone is better than C with 4 other people.
Depends on who you're facing. Depends on who you're facing.
It was dodgy, and it was purely because of them.
That's been one of the bigger complaints for a while.
Yeah.
4 kills in defense, but it was a fun one.
What was the con? Do you remember?
I can.
Because I haven't gotten it to work against like the Trey or the Darth Revan ones in Arena.
I have to say, hands up, I did lose in the end, but I was that close of succeeding. And it was just a weird one. It was very easy to clean up what was left. But I do think that C not being able to get his ultimate unless there's more than one character is quite a weird one. But it was a pure... I don't think I would ever do it again, but it was a strange counter. But I always run with Watt. I always use the tank tech.
Yeah, you can. Sometimes it's important you put the med pack on. I've done that with certain fights with C, that the med pack will be better than the actual tank tech.
Yeah.
So many people just automatically put Rey on the front, and if I see my opponent has C and knows that counter, I don't put Rey down. I know Ranger's going to cut me off now and tell me that she's the queen of defense, but if somebody knows that counter, it's it's an easy banners for them.
Well, the thing that you'll run into eventually, all this, is you're going to run into something like mine with like 14,000 offense with a number crunch from R2 that's going to one-shot your entire team. So that's why you see the Rays with the high offense, and you'll see them in threes. The team that I run in, no C can beat it. I haven't had to C beat it yet. Or if they did, they had to use something crazy. But in threes, for instance, and in fives, we were doing this for the longest time. Hermit Yoda with R2D2. Not only was she getting the master's training, she was getting number crunch, and she would just obliterate C's. And then we were doing that with fives. But then people were like, okay, I'll bring in some more stuff. They weren't going just C Watt. They were going, okay, I'll bring a couple more in. And I was like, okay, that's not going to be as effective because C can get to his ultimate. And it's still dicey, but they were getting wins here and there.
I have been running my Ray Ray's R8 and I run her with R2 as well. I think the stun and the number crunch is brilliant.
Mm-hmm. There's quite a few Ray teams out there. So, but I'm actually starting for Ray. I've been practicing it, and I did it last night. Gas versus Ray. I was like, let me just see how this plays, because I hadn't done it a bit, and I went in there with Gas, my Relic Gas versus Ray, with Finn, Finn, Poe, Holdo, everything. I'm like, it's legit, man. It's legit.
It works.
It works really well.
The timing's sketchy.
It varies.
It works.
You got to have you got to have about 130,000 protection on your Gas. Because I didn't lose any of the characters on there, but it does work. It does work quite well if you've got the right mods on them and stuff. In Relic 8, you can't go in there with the Relic 7.
What works right well?
Gas versus Ray was doing it last.
I'm still
round.
I've got full protection primaries in R8. If the turn comes down to the wrong point, it can. I wouldn't say it's 100%.
No, it's not. But I mean, what I do first is I go after certain characters and get them at a certain point. Just dwindle the characters down Ray, because I'm not worried about her going to ultimate because she'll hit C. But because Gas gets up so much faster now, which is such a godsend.
It's a big help.
It just makes it to where it's hard for that team to take out, because a lot of times you'll see that they'll put in like JTR and Holdo. Well, Finn and Poe will do some damage. Ray can, but it's not fast enough to get your characters out of there. And with Rex doing his thing, they can do anything again for Rex. And then you start Rexalating and stuff. I mean, it's a pretty hard. You can lose. Calvin's 1,000% correct, but. I may start using that a little bit more. And then I could just go C solo versus Gas and just get extra banners that way. I mean, you got to think about this stuff. It's like it's a chess match now in GAC with like what counters you're using. Like the one that me and Thane are working on for Lord Vader is the Boba Fett counter. Dabob, Boba Fett, Fennec, Dash with IG and Quill. Bam, IG Quill, not Dash. What did I say? Dash. I'm losing my mind today. And going in there with that team and wrecking. And we actually tried it with my undergeared. We did quite well against it. Even at Gear 12, I was like, God dang, this thing is doing pretty well against these GLs and stuff. So someday, Thane, I'll have the gear and we'll do that, but not now.
Hogger.
I have welled my ass off, man. Shut up. Let me see what the next question is. Ray Rock question. I don't think CG wants the community to finish Grind Quest in less than 1 week, Ranger. People do it anyway. They just spend crystals. So, you got your Lokis and people like that out there that will get it done within. Actually, after the first time, because usually the first time you're kind of not sure like how everything's going to play out and stuff, so it takes a little bit longer. You're not as sure about stuff, but the second or third time around, I was getting done within a week with Conquest. I would do the 350s and just go in there, clear the sectors, and then I would just do the feats. Because once you knew how the feats worked, you had like a plan of like going through. But with the new feats, guys, I mean, it's gonna be pretty easy to get that thing done in a week. As long as you're spending crystals, I don't think CG gives a shit how long you spend in. If you do all the refreshes and spend crystals and go for the right crate, they're going to get you to get energy refreshes at a minimum. So if you finish it sooner, they don't care. They got what they wanted out of it, right? So, or am I on crack? I am on crack a lot lately these days. Meth. I'm on meth.
I mean, that's. I would love to say you're right, Ranger, but I think it might have been. I don't know if it was a lie or what, but that's essentially what they said last time. Like, we had people finishing it in a week who like they had to spend a refresh to do it, and CG said they didn't like it, but I really feel like that wasn't the reason. Like, there was such a small percentage of the player base that was actually doing that.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it happens. Not me. It wasn't until the second.
Yeah, it still can. Like, if you want to dip into the hundreds or the 200s, you'll get it done.
Yeah. I don't see the incentive for me to do that. I'll do the 50s, right? But I'm not going to do the hundreds. So yeah. I mean, I know it happens. I know quite a few players, especially at the top end. They'll do it just because they want to get it done, so they don't have to worry about it anymore. They'll because time's a factor for a lot of these Krakens and stuff. They're actually surgeons, and they don't mind spending money, but they don't want to spend time in the game. Not that kind of time. So yeah,
Exactly. That's why I pay, so I don't have to spend time in game.
nah, shut it, Kraken. All right, let me look here.
That's why Conquest triggers me so much.
What if they had a third fleet?
Well, then all is forgiven.
Okay, shut up. All right, Angel Chess. Question: Speed GACs are fun. Totally different strategy. More plays. Maybe scheduled according to when you sign up. I don't think they'll do that, Chess. But someone, I think it was on the 100 stream last night. I was watching a few streams last night. Said this, where that week in between, making an alternative thing where, not for crystals, but if you want to do speed GAC, like in between
Ally
each GAC.
points.
Just do that and then go in there and you can just join and just do speed GAC. Speed GAC is a lot of fun, guys. It really is. But I understand why people don't want to make it a part of the normal GAC, which I totally understand and I'm on board with, because some people cannot just designate that time when it goes live for that, to go 20 minutes defense, 40 minutes,
So here's the thing. I don't think they need to necessarily make it like a specific time. But if they could just make it to where when you go in, you have 30 minutes to clear, regardless of what time it is.
They could do that, no matter. So when you're ready to start, you just go in there in that 24-hour period, and then you just go. Yeah. Because you both get 20 minutes for defense whenever you're ready. You just say, "Are you ready to set defense?" You say, "Yes." You get 20 minutes, and then it's like, "All right, you got 40 minutes for offense. When you're ready, go." And then you have that time. Yeah, I could see that being a thing.
They could do that because that way. But it's like as soon as you go into the board, like it goes right because that way you can't cheat and see what's on defense or anything and scout out. It's like no, as soon as you go into the board, boom, time starts. You got 30 minutes. Go.
Yeah. Totally get it. All right. Let's see here. What else? Any three? Question. Doesn't he realize CG is using the Chewbacca defense for point breakdowns in GAC? It does not make sense. That's right, Thane. Look at this. This is Chewbacca. He's from the planet Kashyyyk. That does not make sense. He has a bit in the lore, and he flies the Millennium Falcon, but he's from Jungle Planet. That does not make sense.
Jungle Planet.
It's the Chewbacca defense. Go watch some South Park, baby.
Ganked out with Ewoks.
Yeah. He hangs out with Ewok. That does not make sense. Let's see here. Gappy says, question for Rangers. Life still Kyber and Kyber still live. Yes. Life will always be Kyber. Can't be going to the club without your Kyber. No one wants to go home with an Erodium. They want to go in. They want to go home with a Kyber. All right. Sty. Question, Calvin. What teams are you beating in Arena with the C comp, and how reliable is it?
The Sty's of my arena to start, mate. I was testing that one out, and this is just really just bad. I wanted to see how it did against an R9. I think it's Fabib's R9 JML. I wanted to see if my Gear 11 Talon in there would change anything, and I won, but I don't think Talon was the reason because of it. And I tried it against Lord Vader just for funsies. And we did get to Ultimate. We did kill all the ads, but we couldn't kill Lord Vader.
Yeah, it's if he gets, especially if he gets an Ultimate or two, you're in trouble, right?
Yeah, and I mean, Sty knows my Cheer is Gear 12, and my Talon's Gear 11. Like it's not.
No,
I'm just messing around in there.
Sure.
Sandbox mode, baby.
We all want it, but oh well.
And that's what it is at this point. Like
Yeah, pretty much.
I
It
use my
is.
5 attempts every single day, and I'm never worried about position or dropping or whatever.
No, not at all. You don't care. I just do one battle. I'm like, if I want to test something, I could, but I'm just like, nah. But I would love to see a sandbox mode because it would be cool if we just all jumped on the stream and said, let's just go test stuff. Let's go mess around Theorycraft. I spend hours doing that. Just hanging out, streaming that crap. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm on board 1,000%. Angel Chess question: should we have to collect 720 Eternal Twin Shards and unlock both at once? How dare you, sir? You get that crap out of here,
Yes.
bastard. All right, Gappy question.
I have to clarify. It's 660. It's 330 per twin. So it's 660 you need for both twins.
No, I guess no. I want 720. Now that he brought it up, no,
There's that
720.
math again.
New math. Gappy question: now that there's been a decent ship prep for conquest, will this year be the year of the ships? I'm not ever saying that again. No, sir. I'll let someone else on the panel open their big fat mouths. I did that last year. This time last year, old Ranger J 1999 opened his big fat mouth and said, guys, of all the predictions I'm going to make this year, I think we're going to get, this is going to be the year of the ship. My sweet Jesus and baby Jesus, was I wrong. So I will never, ever, ever make that kind of stupid prediction again, because it made me look bad. I got everything else right. GLs, I predicted everything. I didn't get the ship thing, and I looked horrible, because that's the one thing people beat me over the head with. Like, I know you predicted all the GLs and possible characters coming out, but what about the ships? Yeah, I totally missed out on that.
Well, I mean, they did say, to be fair, ship load of content.
Yeah, I know, but I said before they even had said that months ahead, I was like, yeah, guys, this is going to be the year of the ship. Mark my words. We're going to get a buttload of ships this year. Nope.
Well, it's technically a shipload of changes, which was Executor. But even then, when Cubs had his interview about Executor, I swear CG Miller said that there were going to be a couple more galactic chases for ships coming up, and then nothing came.
No, I don't know what. And now I can't make any predictions because I'm the infamous beta tester. I know what's coming, so that would be disingenuous. Kind of. I'll let the panel make any predictions, but not this guy. My days of predicting are over, so it's a sacrifice I have to make. I saw that sneer, Aldous. I can't do it, damn it. Anybody else want to say shit year of the ships? Aldous Sandfly.
I said it 2 years ago and I was wrong.
Oh, well, then Calvin.
Okay,
joined the Ranger J 1999, opened his big fat mouth foundation.
That was
Thanks
for
for clarifying.
LSTB.
Yeah.
The fact is that more crystals are going out in ships now than any other game mode, so it's already the year of the ships. Do we mean there's going to be a lot more ships launched?
That's
Probably
what that
not.
means, yes. That's what that means, yes.
Ships are infinitely more important than they were 6 months ago. So yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to get a lot more ships. I think ships are tiring to launch and a lot more work. And yeah,
well, they just didn't make as much money. That was the issue with Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
like they had Millennium Falcon, I think, Chewbacca, I don't know how many months apart, and you could see the revenue that one brought in, the other brought in. It was bad.
Yeah, it's scary. I think that now, I mean, it'd be interesting going forward whether ships does start to, with the Executor now being basically how to win or lose in GAC, and also with the ship shards being very important. So I think they need to time, if and when they remove the crystals from the ship shards, is going to be a key thing. Because obviously I think they hinted at the fact they were going to do it or might do it or considering it. I never know what the verbiage is, but I do think that kind of hinders on whether ships live or die. I think if they remove the crystals too early, I think the ships will take a big drop.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
I'd say I think ships were always important. It's just people weren't paying close attention to them because that was one where you got your Zetas, right? So they've always been kind of important. They've just been in the background and they've kind of neglected the game mode. And yeah, with that being crystals now, it's more important. And with being GAC centric and GAC is important, they just need to concentrate on it a little more. I know it's not revenue gaining, but it could be.
That's true. Good point. All right, we're gonna start wrapping it up. We got a few more questions here. We'll get to. It is the top of the hour. We've been going for 2 hours, so we'll try to finish up here, and then we'll rock and roll. We'll do a few more questions here. Question: what is Albus's in-game name? Just wanted to check out where he is at in GAC. I may be close to him. Aldous, you mean?
I put it in chat. I put it in chat with my ally code later on.
There you go. There you go. Chris, how is the TIE interceptor dropping into the game? Do you have to have second sisters to stat opening? I think if you just have her unlocked, I guess just like a character.
Yeah, you have to have her unlocked.
Yeah, so you'll be fine. Navju question: what gear, relic, stats does armor need to be to work at with C? I just go speed. I think mine's around 340. You don't have to go crazy with her because you want her fast so she can get her turn off, right? So you can get those ingots, like if say you're using her for C or whatever team you're using her on. The more speed, the better, but don't go crazy with it. You still have other characters that need speed more, but I don't know, 330 to 340. What do you guys think on old armorer?
I haven't bothered with Armorer. She's an absolute nightmare to gear.
They're all
one of the hardest. No. She is particularly awful.
I'll see you in armor, and I'll raise you a Starkiller.
That is true. That is true. But she is awful. She is awful.
No, she's yeah. That's not fun.
I'd say you need at least the Zeta on her, so she starts with 3, right?
Yeah.
Starts with 2, but yeah, that's what you want.
Well, and then at least a decent speed, so she can get that first turn off and
yeah,
get
like
her to
320, I would say, is probably good enough.
Yeah, you can get away with 320. Chris, question: is anyone using CLS on GL Ray yet? No.
No.
It just won't do it because one.
Well, with Leia, with
possibly, but no, I still think it's going to get Ray will kill.
Yeah, you put Leia in there, and then you can just stun lock Ray.
Yeah, good luck.
Nice sister stun lock Ray.
Yeah. Pubby wants this question: Thane, would more KOTOR content make you happy about the game?
No, I would quit.
Nathan H. question: what ship tanks would you add to the game? Oh, we already know the answer to this. First Order, Resistance. All right, can we get the damn tanks for those? Oh, God.
First Order doesn't need a tank. Yeah. I've said this for a long, long time. What First Order needs is something that they basically need a plow. They need something that can cleanse and something that can give them tenacity up at the start of the battle.
That's true. Maybe they do need that too.
Yeah.
Nathan H. question: what should be Lobot's Omicron?
Whenever he's with Lando, he wakes up and actually does something.
There you go.
Yeah, make Lando do something too, though.
Yeah.
What do you mean? He raised blood on these fools.
That's right. Ilya.
When facing Empire, he betrays them and causes a daze across the team. They're always dazed because they're like, "What happened?"
It just says this deal's getting worse out by the minute. All right, Ilya, question. I'm in Carbonite 2 and thinking of skipping Jedi Rev and going straight for gas. I would use Bastila Jedi until I hit Chromium. Is Jedi Rev worth the Cantina farm, or should I focus on Relic mats? It's a good
question. On Relic mats.
Yeah, I agree.
In the modern SWGOH world, I've kind of made up my mind that you can skip the Revens for a little bit.
Yeah, you can actually. Not gas. I love gas. Gas is dope. But yeah, you can get away with it's always organic. It's always changing, right? Back in the day, it was like, you must get the Revens, right? When you start off.
Well, they were GLs at that
pretty
time.
much, yeah. Even when some of the first GLs came out, were still like Darth Revan.
Yeah, the counters were Darth Revan and Jedi Revan.
Yeah, so... and Jedi Revan is still really good on an SLKR counter with Jedi Knight Luke, and Darth Revan is still Darth Revan. But if you want to skip Jedi Knight Revan, then sure. Especially when you go for gas and you want to get Relic Mats, I'm okay with that.
If you have all the get one to get gas, get gas. Yes. If you don't, go after the Revens.
Yeah, gas.
Or at least Jedi Knight Revan.
Yeah, gas is still quite good.
Skip it Carbonite 2, but do go back because Jedi Knight Revan and his marked becomes incredibly valuable for so many counters. So it's not one you ignore forever. You do go back.
All right. Last question. Let me see here. Nathan H. question: what is taking Kermit's response to GAC failure by CG? I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If it's money, I can tell you I don't have it. But what I do want is for you to fix GAC. If you fix it now, I'll let you go. But if you don't, I will find you. And I will kill you. Yay! There you go. Taking Kermit's response to GAC. All right. All right. That's all the questions. So we went over a few minutes today, but that's okay. And yeah. We had a lot of questions, a lot of people watching stuff. And if you are watching right now, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Come on, guys. Hit the thumbs up before you get out of here. Subscribe if you haven't already. Support Archie. If you'd like to support the content and shows like Jedi Academy and the other stuff that we're doing, hey, think about becoming a Patreon member, a sponsor. It's in the description of the video. It really does help out the channel. And then the other thing, too, that I'm helping people out with, especially with GAC, if you'd like a remod sesh with old Ranger J 1999, message me in Discord, Ranger J 1999, and we'll set up a date and time. And basically what it is, we spend about 2 hours, on average it's about 2 hours. I only charge $25 an hour. We go in and we're going to remod all your stuff, get your inventory squared away, your character's best modded with what you have, and we're going to discuss, and you're going to learn how mods really, really work, get in depth, and really learn. So you don't need me as much anymore. You still may need me once in a while, but yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. So yes, but what I would love for you guys to do is support these other folks here. We're going to let them go in and pimp their stuff, except Thane, because we know what he wants, and I'm not going to support that. But we're going to let everybody else pimp their stuff. And please go check out their content. Check out their stuff. You know, they take the time to be here on Jedi Academy to answer your questions and things of that nature. So right after this, go check out their stuff, guys. Support them and show them some love. Let's go down around the corner as I see you. Aldis, where can folks check you out at?
Welcome to Sandplace. It's still the only channel on Twitch that's specifically in the title of it says welcome. Welcome to Sandplace. And CG gave you 1 gold piece. And if you take that 1 gold coin and come to my channel, you won't even need that gold coin to follow me. It's free. Just go over to my Welcome to Sandplace, hit the follow, and you're in.
There you go. Science. You can't argue with science. BCM, where can folks check that out?
I'm at the same spot, twitch.tv/bigcountrymags, GAC, and maybe some other things sooner or later.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Calvin, awesome. Where can folks check you out? They definitely need to be checking you out.
Calvin_awesome on Twitch. I typically stream my GACs every 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, and then at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday and Wednesday. Not happening today because GAC got canceled, but to be continued.
Yeah, we'll see. And then any parting words thing that's not related to a third fleet in GAC?
No, just keep a lookout. I might be doing my GAC next week if it pops up and it's working. So in honor of Nev, I'm going to do it in Spanish. So I'm going to debut my Spanish.
Hey, there we go. in Espanol.
That's right.
Well, yeah. That's dope. All right. With that, we're going to call this one done. So on behalf of myself and the panel, thank you so much for joining us on the Jedi Academy. Check out all these other great content creators. Wish we had some GAC and other things to show you, but we don't. And I'll be back Monday. There's no GAC, and I'm not doing D&D this weekend or next weekend, because next weekend's Valentine's Day. But we'll definitely have Jedi Academy no matter what, right? So if you need me, hit me up in Discord. As I always say, you can always message me at any time. I may not respond right away, but I always respond, and I will respond to your questions. So everyone have an awesome weekend. Be safe. And we will see you soon. Peace out.